really need a haircut. Perseid meteor shower. I use the all sky camera. So let's look at the first of the all sky camera footage. This is the footage from the back of the house. Let's play through. Oh, okay, interesting. You can see the stars quite nicely there, moving round. And there's Polaris just there. This is Cassiopeia going through, and then daytime, and it's bright. Okay, so what did we have in this? Okay, we had an aeroplane there. That's cars going by and another aeroplane. Another aeroplane. More planes, possibly satellites. I can't see any meteors in that one. Let's go and have a look at the front garden. Here's the all sky camera, and I've set it up so that it will image the southern sky, which is up there. You can just see the moon, and it's just going to sit there taking images all night long until the morning. I'll tidy up the cables in a little while, but basically I've just made a little wooden platform and I'm just going to leave it imaging all night. See what we come up with. As always in my street, I'm completely fighting light pollution, and I have just there a very bright street lamp, and I've had to hang a piece of cardboard to block the light so that the all sky camera, which is here, is then in shadow. Otherwise it's just too bright. Obviously I'll switch the light off behind me, but up there we can see the moon, and that is where Jupiter and Saturn will rise and set. So the idea is that I'll get the movement of them going across the sky and then going behind this house. At least that's the plan. And I wouldn't be able to do that without the cardboard that I've had to hang up there, which is a bit mad. There we go. The cardboard light pollution filter, which then puts the all sky camera into darkness. It's morning time now, and the little camera has been running all night. I'll transfer all of the files now into pip, and then we'll create a video from those, and we'll see it animating through. And my cat's come to say hello. Hello, cat. This is from the front of the house. Okay, was that a plane? Looked like a plane. Ooh, there was something just then. Let's just go back. Look at that. That looks like that could be a meteor, which is quite exciting. Oh, something else just around there as well. Yeah, definitely something there. Something just in this area. Interesting. Not as many as I'd kind of hoped. Definitely a few bits and pieces there. Not as many as I'd hoped, but it's still interesting to look at, and I'm really liking. Oh, that must be Saturn or Jupiter coming across, and then dawn. Interesting. With astronomical darkness returning, I took the first opportunity to get the telescope back into the garden. It's reasonably early in the morning and I've just wrapped the telescope up in some black fabric and then pegged it in place. This is to stop any light leaks, and now I've set the rig on the trusty little Raspberry Pi down here to take dark frames. So it's just imaging dark frames. I'm going to take 20 of these, so it should take about an hour. It's quite early in the morning still, and at the moment we've got lovely blue skies. The temperature has been ridiculously warm here in the UK the last couple of weeks, so I'm hoping that this should be vaguely representative of the temperature we had overnight, which was just a little bit cooler. So we'll take these darks and then we can hopefully calibrate out any noise. Skywatcher 130 PDS, SV Bony guide scope, 224 MC color guide camera, EQ5 Pro mount, Raspberry Pi second-hand DSLR. Now this one has been Astro modified so that it's more sensitive to the reds. So it's had its infrared filters taken out, and on here it has a T adapter, and then just in there it has a coma corrector, and in keeping with the budget aspects of this, it has an SV Bony CLS filter on that, so it's got a light pollution filter on that as well. The whole thing controlled via Astroberry on a Raspberry Pi. We've dived into PixInsight, and let's have a look at some of the data that's come off this camera. Now the first night I went to the East Vale and I think it did pretty well. This is the footage which I managed to get, and you can actually see the Vale there. It's got this blue hue to it because of the light pollution filter. So if I do another stretch on this but unlink the RGB channels, it should be a better image. So there you go, you can visibly see the East Vale there, and there is some blue visible and some red. There's a great big blob of dirt there. Now this is just 1 hour stacked without any calibration frames, so there's no flats on this at all and no darks, because I found my darks didn't work, they just went a bit mad. I then decided I'd try a different target, so I then moved to the Wizard Nebula for the next 2 nights, and the first image that I got was this one. Again, this is blue because of the light pollution filter, so I'll just unlink again and restretch, so you can just see the nebula there, little bits of red, but you can see even with the flats and the dark frames, I've still got a blob of dirt here and loads of vignetting around the edge. I don't know why this is, so I tried to do this again, but this time without the darks. So I only did flat calibration frames, and the results were stark. They were completely different. So here is the image with only flats, so no darks at all. So same data, if I put them side by side, and then on this one I'll just do the same stretch. The data is exactly the same, but you can visibly see that this time this has got loads of vignetting around the edge, but this time it's overcompensated, so the vignetting is gone but it's darker in the middle, and that blob of dirt which you can see there has gone. So there's a problem with the dark frames calibrating out to give a flat field. Now I think this is because the way in which I captured the dark frames, and as a result the calibration data isn't very good. But you can still see the nebula there, which is quite nice. I think of the two, this is probably the better one. So if I was to zoom in on the actual area that I'd probably be processing, it would be something like that. And I think with some background extraction I might be able to get to something reasonable. But the interesting thing is as well that this particular target is very faint, and with a modified DSLR it's a really difficult target. It really is. It needs a dedicated astronomy camera to bring the best out of it. One thing I do love though are the look of these stars. I think they look absolutely brilliant, and I really like diffraction spikes, and this is where the 130 PDS comes into its own, because you can see these lovely diffraction spikes. But the other interesting thing, if you look at this data, I've got these funny little coloured patterns, and that's because there are no darks. These are all hot pixels. You can see the green ones there, and more green ones here, and there are a bunch of blue ones there. Oh, and the red ones are there as well. If the darks had worked, all of these would have disappeared. It didn't work, did it? It's a bit rubbish. Oh well. I think good learning exercise. My collimation was really good. These stars look really nice. I'm pleased about that. But look at the pixels. Oh my goodness. This, so it's scattered like that because of dithering. So each of those dead pixels moves around during dithering. Yeah, it didn't work, this image at all, sadly. It's a real shame because I had quite high hopes, and I did have quite a lot of data on this. And I'm going to revisit this with a DSLR. I'm sure I can take a really good image with a DSLR and proper calibration frames, but I failed quite miserably with this one, unfortunately. Interesting exercise though, and yeah, try harder next time. Oh well, please like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care everyone.